guest tonight is the founder and president of the Rainbow Push Coalition and the host of Both Sides with Jesse Jackson on CNN. Please welcome the Reverend Jesse Jackson. So good to,
nervous.
Why are you nervous? It's just us here. You know, nothing's gonna happen.
But you have no limits.
No, we have no shame, which means we have no limits. There's so much to talk about. Well, first, we're thrilled. You've never been on the show before. Very glad to have you here.
Took a lot of nerve to come.
Talking about, we're wimps here. Don't worry about us. I wanted to ask you something. You are known worldwide as one of the most persuasive people on the planet. You were able to talk Saddam Hussein into releasing hostages at one point. You got Fidel Castro, not an easy guy, to release prisoners. You were known as probably one of the most persuasive people of all time. Do you think you could get into a room with Michael Jordan and convince him not to retire? Any chance of that at all?
It would be a long shot, but it'd be a good conversation.
Maybe you'd get in there and start rhyming, and he'd just say, "Okay, I'm back," you know?
Well,
I know you're tired of perspiring, but don't think of retiring. Something like that.
Well, Chicago is sad, but New York is happy.
Well, where are your loyalties?
You know, the good thing about Michael is that, you know, usually when Don Lawson pitches the great baseball game,
right.
Bobby Thompson, the great home run, but Michael Jordan got there and stayed. The great home run, the great ball, he stayed there. But I suppose more than that, he also, in that rarefied air, did with an amazing degree of dignity and grace. He did not disgrace the sport or people with drugs and decadence. His sense of family and maturity off of the court is a big part of his legacy.
No,
as well.
an excellent role model, and he could probably still keep working in that capacity, even though he's retired.
Well, no doubt he will. He's off the basketball court, but his being a spokesperson in terms of his commercial work, and Michael also has an amazing degree of social sensitivity in terms of commitment to helping youth through school. I remember a kid, Leonard Clark, was beaten nearly to death a couple of years ago, and there was a big furor over it, and without any fanfare, he sent money to the family. So Michael does have a sense of social consciousness, and I think that now that he is freed up of his basketball obligations, we may hear more from him.
He can do more.
In a broader social arena.
Let's talk about your social conscience. You, of course, everyone knows you've run for the office of president several times. And Twice.
Not several, twice.
Several is twice, maybe? Okay, twice. I thought maybe you lost count or something. No. Twice, okay, you have run for president, and you haven't announced yet your intentions of what you might do in this coming election, whether you'd run or not. The question is it a different game now? Would you want to be president under these circumstances? I mean, things have changed so much, and with the ugliness of politics and with the ugliness of...
I think that while there is the ugliness of the present standards that have now gripped the country, there is also the beauty of the challenge of getting the agenda items back on things that make sense. Because while the focus now is on impeachment versus censure, 1,500 Americans die every day from cancer.
Right.
Every 4 hours, a coal miner dies from black lung disease. Every city I visit, there are at least 2 new buildings, a new ballpark, and a new jail. Invariably, first-class jail, second-class schools. Social Security right now is in jeopardy. And so the beauty and the challenge of putting those items back on the front burner is exciting to me.
And you think that, you think that it's possible to get into politics these days, run for president, and not worry about skeletons in your closet or things they're going to find out, you know? That...
Well, I think we simply have to take the position that all of us, that we run as public servants, not as perfect servants, that all of us have sinned and come short of the glory of God.
I have never sinned. I will go on the record.
But you just lied.
Very nice.
So I would say that...
You're going to be just fine as president.
But let those who would obtain mercy be merciful, and those who are merciless are now falling on their own swords.
Well, let me ask you on that same subject. It's no secret that you have been a close confidant of President Clinton's, that you're a good friend to him, and in this crisis that you have been to the White House several times and you have offered him advice. He seems very, he's very in public confident. He said he feels good about the future. He acts like a man who's not fazed by this whole thing. When you get alone with him in private, does he just... is he a different person?
No, he is a reflective person. But he's had the amazing capacity to put even his pain in perspective, because champions have to play with pain. We've seen the very downside of the public embarrassment, but what has kept him going, I think, are maybe three things. This kind of unconditional and mature love that Hillary has for him, and the devotion of their daughter. I mean, a strong family has withstood a strong storm. We've seen the Clintons in triumph, in pain, in restoration, but always together. And that says a lot about...
And that's maybe one reason why people you think can identify with them, is because they've, up until now, presidents have been these people that we put them up on a pedestal, or we didn't know anything. They just weren't even real people to us.
Until death. We now know about Jefferson and Sally Hemings. We now know about Roosevelt and De Leon. We now know about
other presidents,
Eisenhower and K. Thomas-B. And so we put his things on television, and that's kind of different. But also, he's buoyed by the fact that his service to America has been so outstanding. More people working, more youth in school, America feeling better about itself, until America is saying reprimand yes, impeachment no. And for the Congress that could not hear that, the people built a midnight train to Georgia and gave Newt Gingrich a one-way ticket on that train because he could not hear what the people were saying. And I hope that...
He's probably not a big fan of that song now.
Well, I can only say that there are a few more seats on that train, and look like Barr's going to be on that train pretty soon, too. Because they become so low in the stand until now. The moral authority is Larry Flint. He is now driving the Republican train off the track. He's driving it off the track. I just hope that...
I don't know if he's the moral authority, but well, we can call him that if we want.
He certainly has set the chin bar. And most of them cannot reach Larry Flint's chin bar because hypocrisy is the sword that they're falling on. I hope that the Senate will be, with a sense of mature judgment, put the matter in perspective and put it to rest and let the nation's business go on. I hope that happens.
Well, polls seem to show that that's what people want, but we'll see what happens.
But not just the polls. People at the polls, when they voted, made the same statement that what he did was wrong. It was a low crime, not a high crime. Not a crime against the state, not a threat to national security. What he did was weak and not a good thing, but in perspective. You know, I can't help but think about David, arguably Israel's greatest king. In his strength, he slayed Goliath. He pulled the nation together. In his weakness, he had Uriah kill Bathsheba's husband to go to bed with her, and they begat Solomon. And so...
You're losing me here. What?
Well, really
I knew this once, but now I'm getting fuzzy on it.
I guess what I'm really saying is that he said when he fell from grace, he asked God to forgive him for his sins, restore unto him the joy of his salvation, and understand the need to let mercy inform justice, help by judgment.
You know what's interesting to me? I just realized that you are more articulate about his crime than he is. You know, we have to run, running out of time. I know that you are a supporter of the movie Down in the Delta.
Dr. Maya Angelou, Down in the Delta. You know, we decry these decadent, degenerate movies that kind of pull people down. But here's a case where, along with Reuben Cannon and Alfred Woodard and Wesley Snipes, a young woman in crisis in a housing project, and she goes...
Taking the time to come by. It's nice having you here. See? Having fun. What are you afraid of? Reverend Jesse Jackson, everyone. Orange Barker. Coming up right funny by. We'll be right back.